Tannock käyttää puheenvuoron. Olkaa hyvä.
Madam President, this report, as ever, seeks to offer as wide and broad a commentary as possible on Montenegro. On the whole, we see a picture of that country progressing well, with 31 of the 35 chapters now open in total. The government of Montenegro remains positively engaged with the negotiation process, and there continues to exist a strong consensus, both in the political arena and in terms of public opinion, for the Euro-Atlantic integrationist agenda. Obviously, events during the 2016 parliamentary elections, however, show that there is no room for complacency given the efforts of a big third country to exploit the fears and concerns of a small minority. Court proceedings concerning the coup plot continue, and whilst we wait to see the final judgments, I have little doubt that events played out in the way that the prosecution is now arguing. The general political climate has improved since then, and the handling of this case has proved the robustness of Montenegro's strengthening democracy and legal systems. I am pleased to see that much of the opposition have now returned to the Parliament, and I strongly urge the remaining boycotting parties to do so as well. As a first step, it would be good to see all political parties participating in the working group on reform of the law on the Judicial Council. Furthermore, during the reporting period, we have seen presidential elections that passed smoothly and fully in line with the OSCE fundamental freedoms. Clearly, there is room for improvement in some of the State Electoral Commission's working methods, and my report calls for reinforcing the transparency and professionalisation of the electoral administration with that end in mind. Despite the overall level of progress, there remains concerns about the media landscape in Montenegro. 3 successive Commission reports have concluded that no progress has been made in the area of freedom of expression and media freedom, an important issue to satisfying the benchmark requirements of chapters 23 and 24 of the acquis. Ongoing disputes about the role of RTCG and changes to the members of its council and leading executives have had a negative effect on public confidence in the network's editorial integrity. The attack against Olivera Lecic in May of 2018 has highlighted again the plight of journalists and acts of violence against journalists. We cannot forget that this is the second attack against her. Given her involvement in investigating cases of corruption, such incidents highlight the continued need to fight organised crime and corruption in all its forms and at all levels. On a more positive note, engagement and cooperation in the fields of CFSP and CSDP remain very positive. Montenegro has for many years been fully compliant in these areas, and its well-deserved accession to NATO in June of last year will only cement that cooperation, and I particularly welcome Montenegro's full alignment with all the sanctions regimes, particularly those concerning Russia. I should also say a few words on the elements related to the environment in this report, which has been given a much stronger focus than in previous years. As my 2 amendments demonstrate, this has been pushed by other political groups in this House, and to my mind has given the subject a slightly disproportionate coverage in relation to the overall balance of my report. As a self-declared ecological state, it could be argued that Montenegro deserves to be held to higher standards than others. However, we must account for the budgetary pressures that this small country faces in this regard, and we cannot seek to be too prescriptive, particularly when calls go beyond the requirements of the acquis communautaire. To conclude, ahead of the wider debate, for some 9 years as rapporteur for Montenegro, I have referred to it as the good news story of the Western Balkans. It remains today the leading EU accession candidate, but I hope that it will not be too long until we see it progress from the good news story of negotiations to the success story of accession as an EU member state. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tannock, and can I also thank you